Hey there folks, Riath here from tabletopminis.com and welcome to another Age of Sigmar battle report. So it's been a little while since we did our last one. We've been in a kind of busy doing a few other things, but we're back to it now. So today we're going to be playing the battle plan, the Watchtower, and we've got some new models. We've got some painted up Bloodthirster, Celestant Prime, and our Skull Keep we're going to start with. So this should make an interesting tower for the middle of the board. So I hope you enjoy this game, and let's show you the armies. So here we've got the Stormcast Eternals army, and that's led by the Celestant Prime, the first Stormcast ever created by Sigmar. And then we also have Vandus Hammerhand on Dracoth. And then we have 2 units of 5 Liberators with Champion. And we have the Lord Castellant and his Gryph-hound, and Lord Relictor. And then we have 3 Retributors, and then 3 Prosecutors with Prosecutor Prime. And that's the Stormcast Eternals. And here we've got the Khorne army, which is led by the Bloodthirster. And he's the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage, that massive double-handed axe. And then we have a Bloodsecrator, and we have a Korgorath and Bloodstoker, and we have 5 Blood Warriors with a Champion, and finally we have 20 Blood Reavers with full command. So that's the Khorne army. So here we've got the battlefield set up, and we're playing on the 6x4, and we have Skull Keep in the middle, which is going to act as our watchtower. So the idea of this scenario is that from the end of turn 3 onwards, you roll a dice, and on a 4+, whoever's got the most units in or on that Skull Keep actually wins the game. So the Guardian, which is going to be the Chaos in this particular game, is he can choose who starts, and he can also choose which side of the board to deploy on. So the Guardian side is going to be over here, and the attacker side or invader side is going to be over here. So to start with, the Guardian can put 1 hero and a unit garrisoned in the Skull Keep, and the rest of his army will come on from the Guardian side of the board in turn 1 movement phase. And invader sets up here. And there's some pretty interesting command abilities for this battle plan. So for the Guardian, who's in the tower, he has a command ability at the double. So when the reinforcements come on from that side, the general can basically use it on any unit within 12 inches, and they can charge and they can run in the same turn. So that might be quite useful just to get into combat quicker. And also the invader, it has a command ability called Lure Them Out. So if he's within 12 inches of Skull Keep or any terrain feature that has a garrison in it, you basically roll 2 dice, and if you get over the bravery characteristic of the unit garrisoning that Skull Keep, then the whole unit has to be immediately placed 6 inches in open ground. So that might be quite useful, because you get some bonuses if you're in Skull Keep or in the Watchtower. You actually add 3 to your bravery, and you add 1 to all your hit rolls. So that might be quite good for the invader to just draw out the garrison. So now the Guardian can basically deploy first, and he can put 1 hero and a unit in here. So we're going to roll up terrain, mysterious terrain, and then we will deploy our troops, and then you'll see us after deployment. Okay, so deployment has been carried out, and we've rolled up the scenery. Skull Keep has the Bloodsecrator as the hero in the Skull Keep, garrison in it. And we also have the unit of 20 Blood Reavers, so I've just put a few models up there just to represent the unit that's garrisoning the Skull Keep. And then we have the Stormcast Eternals set up here, so we've got the Lord Castellant and his Gryph, the Retributors, we have the Lord Relictor up here on the top of the Dragon Fate dais, and then we have 2 units of Liberators and Vandus Hammerhand. And we also have the Celestant Prime and the Prosecutors. They're set up in the Realm of Light, or Realm of Heaven, so they can come down and lightning strike in during the game. Okay, so start of turn 1 for the Chaos Khorne, and start of the hero phase. Any model that has the totem keyword within Skull Keep can double the range of any special abilities. So His Portal of Skulls, rather than having an 18-inch, now has a 36-inch range, which is quite nice. I don't think it'll really help for this battle though, because we're all kind of bundling up in the middle, but that's quite good. And also, if you have a priest within Skullkeep, you can activate the Dread Gargoyles. And you roll a dice and consult a table, and there's multiple effects that it can have. The best one really is either Ruby Rays of Death on a roll of a 5, which you can pick a unit within 18 inches and do d6 mortal wounds to them. Or if you roll a 6, you can choose anything from the table. And there's a few other interesting ones. If you roll a 4, a Vorpal Barrier, so enemy units cannot attack units occupying the Skullkeep or the battlements. So that would be quite useful for this battle plan, just to give me some time to get my reinforcements up here. And if you roll a 1, then the priest is smote by the gods. So you roll another dice, and on a 2+, the Dread Gargoyles cannot be activated for the rest of the game. And if you roll a 1 on that second d6, then the priest is actually turned into Chaos Spawn, or slain if you don't have a Chaos Spawn miniature, which is quite interesting. I hope that doesn't happen this game. Okay, so let's roll to see what effect we have for Skullkeep. So we have a 6, which means that I can pick a result of my choice. So I'm thinking either maybe the Vorpal Barrier, which would stop him from attacking any units occupied there, or maybe the Ruby Rays of Death, which do a d6 mortal wounds. Okay, I think I'm going to go for the Vorpal Barrier, so just to give my reinforcements some time. So with that Vorpal Barrier, enemy units cannot attack units occupying the Skullkeep or its battlements until the next hero phase, and then we roll again for the effect of the Dread Gargoyles. And now my Bloodsecrator here, he'll put down his Portal of Skulls. So that brings us to the start of the movement phase, and I can bring on all of my reinforcements because turn 1, which is the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage, the Korgorath and Bloodstoker, and the Blood Warriors. They've come on and they've been deployed with 12 inches away from the table edge. That counts as their movement though, so they can't actually move this turn. And the Reavers, they're still in there with the Bloodsecrator. So that's the end of the movement. And there's nothing else that I can do, and no shootings within range, and I can't charge with them because they've just moved on and they can't do anything else. So that is the end of turn 1 for the Chaos Khorne, and into the Hammers Sigmar, turn 1.
Okay, into Stormcast, turn 1, and I've got a befuddled test to do for the Lord Castellan here. And he makes it on a 2+. Lord Castellan here is going to use his Warding Lantern on these Retributors over here, and that's going to give him +1 to their save. And Lord Vandis here, he's going to use his Lord of the Host command ability, which means any Stormcast Eternal unit within 24 inches does not have to take any Battleshock tests. Now into the movement phase, and Lord Vandis is going to move up 10 inches. Now the Lord Relictor, he's just going to move up 4 inches to here. Lord Castellan, he's going to move 5 inches over here. And the Gryph-hound's going to move up behind the Lord Castellan. Now the Retributors are going to move up 4 inches. Just to here. Now this unit of Liberators are going to run up, so that's going to be 5 plus d6. And that is 3, so that's going to be 8 inches they can run up. To here. Finally, these Liberators are going to run up as well. 5 plus 5, that's 10, and so that's going to move them up to here. Okay, now into the shooting, and there's no shooting to be done. The Stormbreast is 12 inches too far away there. So that's going to be it for my turn because there's no charges. So that's the end of Stormcast turn 1. Okay, start of battle round 2, and let's roll to see who starts. Stormcast get a 6. And 1 for the Chaos, so Stormcast to start turn 2. Okay, start with the hero phase, and the Lord Castellan over here, he's going to use his Warding Lantern on these Retributors to give them +1 save. And Lord Vandis here, he's going to use his special command ability for the scenario, which is called Lure Them Out. So I roll 2d6, I'm going to use it on his Bloodsecrator over here, and if I roll higher than his bravery, which is 9, then he has to set up his Bloodsecrator 6 inches out in the open.
Ground.
Yeah, out in the open ground. So we need a 9+ here. And
ooh, he does it!
Ooh, yeah, nice.
That was quite lucky, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so 10, yeah. Okay, so he needs to be set up 6 inches away in the open ground from the Watchtower.
So my Bloodsecrator, he can come out within 6 inches in open ground. So I'm not going to put him at the front there where he'll be mincemeat. So I'll put him back here.
Yeah, that's probably the best place for him, I would say.
So
To the movement, and the Liberators here, they're going to try and run, so that's 5 plus 2, so that's going to be 7 inches. Move them up to here. Now Bandis, he's got a movement of 10, so he's going to move 10 inches up to here.
coming in for the Bloodthirster, is he?
Coming in for the Bloodthirster. I'm just going to move these Liberators 5 inches. Now the Lord Relictor is going to move up 4 inches. Okay, now these Retributors are going to run up, so that's going to be 4 inches plus 2, so that's going to be 6 inches they run up, so over here. Now the Lord Castellan, he's going to run up. It's going to be 5 plus 3, so it's 8 inches. Now the Gryph-hound, he's got a movement of 9, so he's just going to move up just to behind the Lord Castellan over there. Okay, now the Celestant Prime is going to come in from the heavens, 9 inches away from any enemy model. I'm just going to put him here.
So this is turn 2. So
yeah, that's turn 2, so he gets an extra 2 attacks, so he's going to have 4 attacks with Skalmaraz. And I'm also going to be setting up the Prosecutors 9 inches away from these Blood Warriors. Just set them up here. Now into the shooting phase, and the Prosecutors here, they're going to throw their hammers at the Bloodsecrator, and that's 6 attacks, hitting on 4s. Okay, and wounding on 4s. That's 1 wound, no rend, so that's 3 plus save. Which he makes. Okay, now Celestant Prime is going to use his Comet Strike Scepter, which means if he does so, pick a point on the battlefield within range and roll a dice. Each unit within that many inches of that point suffers D3 mortal wounds, and I've picked my point here. And now we're going to roll to see how many inches. And 4 inches, so I think that will definitely get the Blood Warriors, and
yeah,
it
covers the blood, just covers
the Bloodthirster, and I think it's too far away for the Bloodsecrator there. So D3 mortal wounds on the Blood Warriors here. 6. Ooh, so that's going to be 1 dead, and one's down to 1 wound. Okay, now for the Bloodthirster. It's a 5, so 3 wounds on him, so he's down to 11 wounds. That's pretty good. Okay, now the Dracoth is going to use his Storm Breath, and I'm going to put it just here, so it'll cover the Bloodsecrator and the Blood Warriors. So I'll do the Bloodsecrator first, 4 plus, it does D3 mortal wounds. A 1, no, it doesn't. And for the Blood Warriors, a 5, so that's D3 mortal wounds. 6, so that's 1 dead. And 2 dead, actually, yeah, 2 dead. Not looking good for the Blood Warriors. Okay, now into the charge phase, and my Prosecutors here, they're going to try and charge these Blood Warriors. They roll 3d6 on the charge, and they're going to need an 11. And they get it. 2 6s and a 4. So they are in combat. Okay, now the Celestant Prime, he's going to try and charge the Bloodsecrator over here. And he's going to need an 8, and he doesn't get it, but once per turn I can change any 1 dice roll that I want, and I'm going to change that one to 5. I'll just make that 5, so
it's overpowered.
So he makes that charge, so he's in. But I've used that for this turn, so he can't use it for his attacks or anything, so that's good. Yeah, now the Liberators are going to try and charge the Bloodsecrator as well, and they're going to need a 9. And they get...
11.
Yeah,
wow.
So they are in. Pretty lucky charge roll. And now Vandis, he's going to try and charge the Bloodthirster over here, and that's going to need a 4, I believe.
Yep, 4.
4 inches. Here we go. And he makes it. So he is in. Now these Liberators are going to try and charge the Khorne over here. They need an 8. So they get... Ooh, they make 11, so they make it.
Lucky charge rolls you're making.
That is a lucky charge. They are in. Okay, now I'm going to start the combat phase by attacking the Bloodthirster with Vandis here. So he charged, so he gets extra D3 attacks with his Tempestos Hammer. So that's going to be 6. Oh, so he gets 3 more. So he has 6 attacks with his Tempestos Hammer, and that's going to be a 3 to hit, which he makes all but 1 of them, and it's going to be 2 to wound. 5 hits, 2 to wound, and 2 fail, so that's 3 wounds, and it's -1 rend. So on the Bloodthirster,
yeah, 5 plus save.
is he not normally a 3 plus save?
No, normally 4.
All right, okay, so he's going to be 5 plus save. So he fails 2, so that's going to be 2d3 damages on the Bloodthirster. So that's going to be 3 damage on the Bloodthirster.
He's down to 8 wounds.
He's down to 8 wounds, yeah. And now Dracos Claws and Fangs. That's going to be 3 attacks, 3 plus to hit. And they all hit, and 3 plus to wound. Any 6s, and it does d6 damage instead of 1. Oh, 1 6, and the other 2 pass as well, so that's 3, no rends on that, so... Okay, oh wait, yes, it is -1 rend, so it's going to be...
let's roll the 6 first.
Okay.
So that's a 5 plus save.
5 plus save.
Which will make.
Oh, which he makes, yeah.
And the other 2, 5 plus save.
Plus save.
Make 1 off.
Makes 1,
so
and he takes another wound then.
Okay, so he's down to 7 wounds.
Bloodthirster is down to 7 wounds. Okay, and now the Bloodsecrator is going to attack the Liberators here. That's going to be 5 attacks, hitting on 3s. Okay,
4 hits.
4 hits.
Wounding on 3.
Wounding on 3s. And
2 wounds.
2 wounds. And any rend?
-1 rend.
-1 rend. It's going to be 5 plus save. And they both make it. Okay, now my turn to attack back. And the Prosecutors are going to attack. It's going to be 7 attacks, because +1 for the Prime. Hitting on 3s, so I can reroll 1s. Okay, so I'm going to reroll these ones. Okay, so they all hit. Wow. Okay, and now it's going to be wounding on 3s. And that's going to be 4 wounds. And there is no rend, so that is going to be, how many, what's the save of the?
4 plus.
4 plus save for the Blood Warriors. And that's
so 3 wounds.
3 wounds, so that's 1 dead.
And the champion's down to 1 wound.
Yeah, 1 dead, and the champion's down to 1 wound.
Yeah, before he dies though, he can make an attack back.
Yep.
With,
the
shields, or what are they called?
Gore Fist, yes, he's got a Gore Fist special ability.
No respite.
No respite, sorry. Okay, and since he made 1 save, that means he gets to roll a dice down on a 6. I take a mortal wound, so he rolls a 1, so nothing there. So no respite for that one guy that died. So that's 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, 2 hits, and wounding on 4s.
1 wound.
1 wound.
No rend.
No rend. Okay. So that's 1 4 plus save for the Prosecutors, and they make it. Okay, now the Khorne is going to attack these Liberators here. That's 6 attacks, hitting on 3s. Okay.
Wounding on 3s.
Wounding on 3s. 3 wounds.
-1 rend.
-1 rend, so that's going to be 3 5 plus saves, and I can reroll 1s because of their shields. So one of these Liberators are down to 1 wound. Okay, and now the Celestant Prime here, he's going to attack the Bloodthirster, and he's got 4 attacks because he gained 2 for coming in on turn 2. And that's going to be hitting on 3s. 3 hits, wounding on 2s. They all wound, and that's going to be -3 rend, so that's going to be 6 plus saves, 3 to 6 plus saves for the Bloodthirster.
1 saved.
1 saved.
Ooh, so that's
so
6 wounds he takes.
6 wounds he takes.
Damage,
Yeah,
so
he's actually dead because he has 5 wounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So not looking good for the Khorne here, getting a bit stuffy. Okay, now he's gonna pile in with his Bloodstoker and attack these Liberators over here. Okay, and the Bloodstoker is gonna use his Torture Blades first. That's gonna be 3 attacks, 3+ to hit.
1 hit.
1 hit and 3+.
Wound.
So
3+.
1 wound.
No rend.
No rend, so that's going to be 1 5+ save for the Liberators. And they don't make it, so that is actually 1 Liberator dead there because he was already on 1 wound. And now he's going to use Blood Whip. That's going to be 3+. 3+.
And 4+ to wound.
4+ to wound.
2 wounds.
2 wounds
No
and no rend, so that's going to be 2 4+ saves. Reroll 1s because of the shields. And, ooh, so that's...
2 wounds.
Yeah. 2 wounds, so that's 1 more dead. Okay, and now these Liberators are going to attack the Khorne here, and that's going to be 7 attacks, 1 extra for the Prime, hitting on 3s because they've got lay low the Tyrant, and that's going to be 4 hits and wounding on 3s, and so 3 wounds, and no rend, so 3 4+ saves for the Khorne and 1 wound, so that Khorne is down to 7 wounds. Okay, and now the Bloodthirster here, he's going to attack Vandis, and that's going to be 3 attacks because he's lost 7 wounds, I think, right?
Yep, with the Great Axe of Khorne.
Yeah,
so
with the Great Axe.
on 4s here. Come on. Ooh, and 2 of them hit.
2 hit.
Now, wounding on 2s.
Yeah.
If I get any 6s here, there's a special ability, Outrageous Carnage, which does loads of damage to nearby units. So.
Yeah.
Wounding on 2s. Oh, that's very bad. So 1 wound, -2 rend.
-2 rend, so
5+ save.
5+. Oh, and I make it.
Oh no. So that's it. That's all he's got.
Wow.
That was very
nice save from Vandis there.
that was very underwhelming.
Okay, now the Blood Warrior here, he's going to attack the Prosecutors. That's going to be 3 attacks, hitting on 4s.
Hitting on 3s.
Oh no, hitting on 3s, sorry. And
wounding
1
on
hit.
4s.
Wounding on 4s, and that's 1 wound.
No rend.
No rend, so that's going to be a 4+ save for the Prosecutors. And they make it on 5. Nice saves. So that's the end of the combat phase, and now into the battle shock phase. And we've got the Blood Warriors here. They lost 4 guys, so a 4.
So
and that's an
total,
8.
So he runs away.
8 total, so he runs
6.
away. Okay, and that is Battle Shock over, and that's going to be the end of my turn. So into Chaos, turn 2.
Okay, so start of turn 2 for the Khorne Chaos, and my Bloodthirster here, he is going to use Inspiring Presence on the Reavers there. He's got his own command ability called Bloodthirsty Charge, which lets demons within 6 inches reroll their charge distance, but it's no use here, so just Inspiring Presence. And my Bloodstoker there, I guess he can whip the Khorne. And now into movement, and I'm not going to move my Reavers, I'm going to keep them garrisoned there.
Good idea.
Because end of turn 3, whoever's got the most models garrisoned there or within the building win the game. So no movement to do, and so we're into shooting. So the Khorne is going to use his Bone Tentacles on the Liberators. So that's 3 attacks hitting on 3s. It's 2 hits, wounding on 4s. 1 wound, and there's no rend on that, so it's a 4+ save.
Save, and we make it.
Okay, so no damage, and that's shooting over. And now the combat phase. So we'll start with the Bloodthirster attacking Vandis here. So that's 3 attacks hitting on 4s. Oh, pretty bad. 1 hit. Wounding on 2s. If it's a 6 here, it's good. Oh no. So
nice.
Again, no damage from this Bloodthirster in 2 turns of combat. This is pretty horrendous. Okay, so
not looking good.
Hammers Sigmar to pick now. The Liberators here are going to attack the Khorne, so that is normally 2 attacks each, 3 for the Prime. So that's 5 attacks on the Khorne, hitting on 3s because they'll lay low the Tyrant. That's 3 hits, wounding on 3s. That's 2 wounds and no rend there, so 4+ save, which they both make. And that last Liberator is going to be attacking the Bloodstoker, so he's hitting on 3s. And nothing there, so
Bad roll.
Combat over for the Liberators. The Khorne's going to attack the Liberators, so it's 5 attacks, and we're hitting here on 3s. All of them. Wounding on 3s, and we can reroll 1s because of he's been whipped. All of them hit, and all of them wound, sorry. And that's got a -1 rend.
Ooh, so
5 plus save and 5 wounds. So that's 5 plus saves.
You can reroll 1s because of their shields?
Yep, rerolling the 1s. So okay, that is 3 wounds, so 1 dead and 1 down to 1 wound.
Yep.
And now Vandus is attacking the Bloodthirster, so Tempesto's Hammer, 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's 2 hits, wounding on 2s. That's 2 wounds, and a -1 rend, so Bloodthirster's at 5 plus save. And they both save, nice. Now Dracoth's Claws and Fangs, 3 attacks hitting on 3s. That's 2 hits, wounding on 3s. 1 wound, and a -1 rend, so that's a 5 plus save. Which he makes as well, so no damage from Vandus. Some pretty sloppy combat going on there. And now the Bloodstoker is going to attack the Liberators, so with his Torture Blade, that's 3 plus to hit. 2 hits, wounding on 3s. 1 wound, and no rend, so that's a 4 plus save. Which he makes. And now his Blood Whip, so that's 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. 2 wounds, and no rend, so 2 4 plus saves. And both saved, so hardly any damage going on this combat phase. And that actually brings us to the end of the combat.
Yep.
And so we're into Battle Shock. And nobody died, well, apart from your guy, but you're immune.
Yeah, Lord
of the Host. So that's the end of turn 2 for the Chaos. So we're into Battle Round 3. So let's roll to see who starts Battle Round 3. So 6 for me, and 3 for you. So Chaos to start. So again, the Bloodthirster is going to cast Inspiring Presence on the Blood Reavers here. And the Bloodstoker is going to whip the Khorgorath. So that's us into shooting. And the only shooting that I've got is the Khorgorath. So he's going to shoot the Liberators there. And with his Bone Tentacles, there's 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. So, yeah, all of them hit. Wounding on 4s. 1 wound and no rend, so 4 plus save.
4 plus save. And he makes it.
Okay, so no damage. So we're back into the combat phase. Just to note, the Khorgorath's back up to 8 wounds because he killed the Liberator, so he heals the wound. So with the Bloodthirster here, we've got 3 attacks, and they are hitting on 4s. So 1 hit, wounding on 2s. Ooh, and we get a 6, which is great because we can use the Outrageous Carnage ability. What that means is that if you get a 6, then each enemy unit within 8 inches of the Bloodthirster suffers a number of mortal wounds. Ooh. And because he's had 7 wounds took to him, then it does D3 mortal wounds to every enemy unit within 8 inches. So let's see what that covers. Obviously Vandus and the Liberators 2. The Celestant Prime's too far away. And I think the Prosecutors, the Liberators here.
Everyone apart from the Celestant Prime.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so D3 mortal wounds on Vandus. 3 mortal wounds.
3.
So we'll see down to
down to 4.
Down to 4 wounds. And now a D3 mortal wounds for these Liberators over there. 3 wounds, so that actually wipes them out.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's them gone.
That was pretty good. And now a D3 for the Liberators down here. 3 wounds, so that's 1 dead and 1's down to 1 wound. And then finally the Prosecutors. They take 1 wound, so one of them is down to 1 wound.
Yeah.
That was pretty strong, and that was just the special ability because he rolled a 6. But the Great Axe attack still goes through, and so that's 1 hit with a -2 rend, or 1 wound with a -2 rend. So Vandus has a 5 plus save,
yeah,
and this does a d6 damage if you fail it, and he fails it. So
Ooh.
d6 damage, and he's on 4 wounds now.
Yep.
3 damage. So he's down to a single wound.
Single wound on Vandus.
So now Vandus is going to attack back with his Tempestos hammer. That is 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. Two hits, wounding on 2s. Both wound, and a -1 rend, so that is a 5+ save. Which we make both of them again, so not bad. He's deflected his attacks again. And I think, yep, now Dracoth. So 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. 2 hits, wounding on 3s.
Any 6s does d6 damage.
Both wound. So -1 rend, so that's a 5+ save. And he takes 2 wounds, so he's down to 5. So that's the end of the combat, and no battle shock to take because all the Hammers of Sigmar are still immune to battle shock. Yep. So we are into turn 3 for the Hammers of Sigmar.
Okay, start of turn 3 for the Hammers of Sigmar, and need to take a befuddle test for the Lord Castellan over here. 2+, he's ensorcelled. Oh, and he's befuddled, so he can't do anything this turn.
Just turn it over so you know he's befuddled.
Yeah. Now testing for the Gryph-hound, and he's okay. So he's ensorcelled. And Lord Vandus, Hammer Hand over there, he's going to use his Lord of the Host command ability. So any Stormcast Eternal unit within 24 inches takes no battle shock tests. Okay, that's hero phase over, and now into the movement phase. I'm just going to move my Lord Relictor just like 3-4 inches up to here. And Retributors are going to stay where they are, and the Gryph-hound is going to move. He's got a move of 9 inches. He's going to move over here. Lord Castellan can't move because he's befuddled. Okay, and now the Celestant Prime, he's just going to shimmy on up over here. The Prosecutors are going to do the same. They've got like a movement of 12.
So just moving to within 3.
Yeah, just basically moving to within 3. Yeah. And the Liberators are just going to move as well towards the Skull Keep, ready to make a charge. Okay, shooting phase now, and the Dracos is going to use Storm Breath. I'm just going to point it right here over the Blood Reavers, and that's going to be a 4+, and it makes, and it's going to be D3 mortal wounds now on the Blood Reavers, and that's 2, so 2 Blood Reavers dead. Now the Prosecutors are going to attack the Blood Reavers up here with their shooting attacks. Well, their hammers. They basically just throw their hammers. That's going to be 6 attacks, hitting on 4s. I could reroll 1s. And that's going to be 3 hits and wounded on 4s. 3 wounds and no rend, and they don't get a save actually, okay, so do they? So that's another 3 dead. Now the Celestant Prime is going to use his Comet Strike up on that Skull Keep, and that's going to be I'm going to roll the dice now to see how many inches. 1 inch, that's good. So that just hits them, so that's going to be D3 mortal wounds. And that's 2, so 2 more are dead. Okay, now into the charge phase, and these Liberators are going to charge the Skull Keep and the Blood Reavers inside. They're going to need a 3. And they get it, so they are in. Now the Prosecutors are going to charge as well, and they're going to be charging on 3 dice, 3 inches. So yeah, they're in. No problem for them. Now Celestant Prime's going to charge, needing a 3. Come on, and he gets it just. So he's just in there. Now the Retributors are going to charge, needing 3, and they make it, so they are in. Now the Gryph-hound's going to charge, needing 3, and he makes it. Now the Lord Relictor is going to charge, needing 3, and he makes it as well. Now into the battle phase, and Vandus here is going to attack the Bloodthirster. He's going to use Tempestos Hammer first, 3 attacks. Hitting on 3s, they all hit. Wounding on 2s. Ooh, 2 wounds and -1 rend. Okay, 5+ save. two 5+ saves. Oh, they both fail, so that's going to be 2d3 damage there. That's going to be 3 and a 4. So he's down to 1 wound.
Ooh, he's going to die here.
He might die. Now Drakos is going to use his claws and fangs at 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. And 2 hits and wounding on 3s. And oh, not good. None go through, so looks like that Bloodthirster is going to stick around for now at least. Okay, now the Bloodthirster is going to attack back. It's 2 attacks, hitting on 4s. Both fail. Wow, that Bloodthirster's axe isn't that great actually, is it? Okay, now the Celestant Prime is going to attack with Galmaraz, and that's going to be 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. 3 hit and wounding on 2s. Oh, 1 wound.
You can change 1 dice.
But I can change 1 dice, so I'm going to change 1 dice to 2. And yeah, so that's going to be 6 damage. So that's 6 of them dead because they don't get a save. So yeah. Okay, now the Blood Reavers are going to attack back on the Liberators over here. And that's going to be 8 attacks. Hitting on 4s.
Reroll 1s because of Reaver Blades.
Yeah, you can reroll 1s.
So that is 4 hits.
4 hits.
4s.
Wounding on 4s.
2 wounds.
2 wounds.
No rend, so it's 4 plus save.
So 4+ saves. I can reroll 1s because of the shields.
And 1 wound. So one of them actually dead.
One of them is dead. Yeah. Okay, now the Retributors, they're going to attack the Blood Reavers. That's going to be 7 attacks. He gets an extra 1 because of the Prime. So he could hit in on 3s. And
that 6 is
2 mortal wounds, so 2 of them are instantly dead.
Yep.
And 2 more go through, so that's going to be wounding on 3s. Yep. Which they do, so that's 4 damage. Yeah, so another 4 dead.
So we're down to 1 Reaver.
Wow, 1 Reaver left. That is not looking good for Khorne at all. Now their Lord Relictor is going to try and finish off that final Blood Reaver sitting up high in his tower there. And that's going to be 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. Yep. And wounding on 3s. So and that is going to be him dead. And that is no more Reavers there. Okay, so that's the end of the combat phase, and there are no battle shock tests to take. And so we're going to roll now to see if the battle goes on. So on a 4+, right?
On a 4+, it
on continues. A 4+, it continues. Oh, and the battle ends.
So it's pretty obvious. The Stormcast Eternals have managed to take the tower here, so it's a Stormcast Eternals victory. So
yeah, that was pretty interesting.
So let's get into the post match.
Yep.
So into the post match, and that went a bit quicker than I thought, and it was a bit of a slaughter. I mean, Khorne are meant to be
one-sided that game.
Doing the slaughtering, but there wasn't much of it in this game, that's for sure. Bloodthirster, he's going.
He got some really bad rolls.
Yeah, that was terrible. But it's because he's only got 4 attacks normally. It's so important that they hit, because if they hit, then they wound on a 2+. They do D6 damage, and they got -2
it's just that hitting. It's a bit hard because it's on a 4+. Yeah. But yeah, what is it? To wound on a 6? No. On a 6 he does outrageous slaughter? Yeah. That thing is insane.
Potentially, if you all 4 of your attacks hit on a 4+, they wound. If you got 6s, for every 6 you get, every unit within 8 inches take 3 mortal wounds if he hasn't been damaged.
Yeah,
so
that was crazy. That took out my whole unit of Liberators there.
Well, I think that's the only real damage I did, I think. I don't know, I mean, the armies look fairly balanced to start with, but
I just think you got some quite a lot of bad rolls in that game, really. Like, I don't know, maybe.
Well, I think when you managed to lure out my Blood Secretor, that was the beginning of the end, because I couldn't use the abilities anymore on my Skull Keep to either defend or to do damage with it with the gargoyles.
Yeah. You only got 1 turn off that portal, the extra attacks.
Yeah, and I think you started turn 2, didn't you?
Yeah.
whereas I had started turn 1, so you basically got 2 turns in a row, which kind of it didn't do any, it didn't help at all.
Yeah, I got quite lucky with some saves on Vandis. Like I thought he would have died a lot sooner.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And what do you think of Celestant Prime? Like,
Celestant Prime, I love that ability where he can change a roll of the dice once per turn.
I know, that is so overpowered, isn't it? I mean, any dice that you roll, you can change it to any result that you want. So
it's quite useful,
like,
especially when you charge.
You seen there when you failed your charge, okay, just pass it, or you can make an extra dice to hit or to wound.
It's awesome,
which is quite a big deal.
I love it.
But yeah, that was a great game. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and first time using some Dreadfort scenery. We're going to have lots more battle reports with more. A
lot more on the way.
Yeah, a lot more of the Dreadfort in coming battle reports. So if you liked us, like the video, please like and subscribe, or you can check us out on tabletopminis.com, and we have a Patreon campaign going. If you want to support us to continue making videos like this, then any support you can give us much appreciated. So until the next time, see you later. Thanks for watching.